station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are San Diego.
How about that veteran left-hander Clayton Richard? His second time around with the Padres last night, 7 innings, a shutout ball. Padres win the opener of the 4-game weekend series 14-1. And game 2 tonight here at Petco Park. Welcome aboard with Mark Sweeney. Dick Enberg, pleased that you've joined us. And before we go to Ryan Schimpf's home run numbers, here's a man that was on a minor league contract in spring who has done something that no baseball player since 1900 has accomplished. Ryan Schimpf's first 50 hits, 38 of them extra bases.
Yeah, you think about Ryan Schimpf, and you always wonder who's going to be the success story when you go to spring training. No one knew Ryan Schimpf's name. He went to AAA, he bought his time, he earned his stripes, and you think about what he has done and how he has produced at this big league level. It's not just pull power, it's power to all fields. We saw it on display last night. He takes a changeup to right center, and he continues to power the baseball and earn every bit of his playing time.
His first 50 hits, only 12 are singles. He throws those away. Doubles, triples, home runs for Schimpf. David Dahl, our first look at him last night, I like the way this young guy swings the bat.
Well, the Colorado Rockies found a gem, and obviously they have some offense behind it. They have to stabilize their pitching staff, but the offense is getting another boost with this left-handed hitter. He is really impressive to watch. Simple approach. He has bat speed. Listen, he's hit in 36 of 42 major league games he's played in, 17 straight to start his career. What a find for the Colorado Rockies.
3 for 4 last night. He's hitting .333 on the season. Well, John Jay is back in the Padres lineup. That's good news for all of us. He's the captain of the outfield and certainly has mentored Travis Jankowski. Julie Alexandria with JJ when we return to Petco.
where we're connected. And by Petco, where the healthy pet go. And Jerome's Furniture, where Jerry's price is the lowest price every day. And by Smart and Final, now with 25 stores across San Diego.
Well, John Jay gets his third consecutive start in right field since being activated off the 60-day DL. And at the time of his departure back in mid-June, he was leading the National League in doubles. Well, last night he looked true to form and just like his old self when he doubled in the fourth. I had a chance to talk to John Jay about getting back to one and looking true to form.
Great out there. I mean, I feel like I've been having good at-bats, and that's all I really, worry about is trying to have good at-bats every day. So, I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm healthy, and I'm happy to be out there playing baseball again. Obviously, we know where we are in the standings, but we got to keep putting our foot on the pedal every day and continue to learn, especially for these guys to get experience. So that was big today. We got out early and we kept on going, and we didn't stop, which is what we need to keep doing.
Both Alex Dickerson and Travis Jankowski have told me that it has been such a plus to have John Jay back, having that veteran presence in the outfield, calling those shots. Well, when we come back, coming up, it's the rookie versus the Rocks, game 2 of the 4-game set, Padres and Rockies, when we return.
In the form of the unexpected. That ball is drilled to right field as he hit another. Touch 'em all. Relative unknowns who seize the opportunity and deliver.
Strike 3 called. Wow, good pitch.
Luis Perdomo, a Rule 5 A-level draft pick, catapulting to the big leagues.
The second for one.
Whoa.
On to first, double play.
Ryan Schimpf, 7 seasons in the minors and now writing the major league record book with his impressive power. Surprise, surprise. And we're set to go. Yes, indeed. Perdomo will be on the starting lineup on the mound tonight for the Padres, and Ryan Schimpf, his second baseman. 2 men out of spring training. No one knew much about them, expected little, and they've been providing major league thrills for Padre fans this year. And Perdomo takes the mound looking for his 8th win of the year. Padres and Rockies, game 2 of the 4-game weekend series. And let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Rockies, brought to you by Hyundai. Charlie Blackmon, that .315 average, 4th best in the National League. DJ LeMahieu's .342 is 2nd best to Daniel Murphy of Washington. Then Cargo Gonzalez at .297 with 25 homers, followed by Nolan Arenado, the National League leader in home runs, the Major League leader in RBIs. Pretty good start to the lineup for Walt Weiss. David Dahl, 3 for 4 last night, the rookie left fielder. He's only 22. Veteran Mark Reynolds at first base tonight with Daniel Descalso at short. Tony Walters will be behind the plate for Tyler Chatwood.
And here's the scouting report for the 23-year-old right-hander making his 17th start. It has everything to do with his two-seamer. He needs to have movement down in the strike zone rather than side to side. And what's impressed me the most about this 23-year-old, his mound presence. Had a great start in Miami. Also, Los Angeles struggled at times, but still maintained that nice presence. It's beyond his years.
And a check of the Padres defense behind Perdomo, brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. Travis Jankowski in center field with Dickerson in left and John Jay, the veteran, in right field. The infield for San Diego tonight, 3 S's, Solarte, Sardinas, Schimpf at 3rd, short, and 2nd, and Will Myers at 1st.
Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by San Diego Honda dealers. And simple. Have a fast start for the Padres. 14-1 last night. They have to get off to a good start and also hand it to the bullpen, which is very rested because of Clayton Richards' effort last night. Brad Hand, Ryan Buchter, and Brandon Maurer.
They're all set to go in support of Perdomo. Hector Sanchez with Derek Norris injured shoulder late in the game last night. We're still waiting to get a full report on the X-rays and MRI. Julie's on the case. We're set to go. Blackmon digs his way in, hitting .315. Hit 11 home runs in August, and the first pitch of the game is in there for a strike. Blackmon, LeMahieu, and Gonzalez to start things. Laz Diaz behind the plate. Doug Eddings, Stu Sherwater, and the crew chief Jeff Nelson on the bases. Perdomo. Ball flared foul. 0-2. Padres are 8-5 against the Rockies on the season's play. And Perdomo's trying to hold in check the National League's top hitting team. Walt Weiss's club hitting at .275 on the year. 1-2.
Well, what Walt has seen in years past is the offense, after a tough night last night, they can come out and swing the bats, and you can change that atmosphere. Last night was ugly for the Colorado Rockies.
Didn't score until the 9th inning home run. And that pitch is high, 2-2, as shortstop Christian Adames hit his 2nd homer of the year off Brandon Morrow to avoid the shutout. LeMahieu, former teammate of Brian Schimpf at LSU. That ball right over the bag at first, a fair ball, and there's one away. Well, now they're saying a foul ball. It appeared the first base umpire was going to call it fair, but as it crossed until it crossed the bag, it's the umpire's call behind the plate, and the plate umpire said foul ball.
Now you see Doug Eddings right on it, and you have to manipulate Will Myers as the first baseman to try to judge that over the bag. And this is pretty close.
Bounces right on the line. Myers, of course, caught the ball in foul territory, but that isn't what matters. It's where the ball was when it reached the bag. Nevertheless, 2-2, and a swing and a miss, strike 3. Time now for the tools of the trade, brought to you by Ram Trucks.
Well, last time out for Luis Perdomo, you have to be worried about location, especially the two-seam location. When he gets into trouble, it leaks over the middle, and it flattens out and it's elevated. Easier for the hitters to make adjustments. As you can see, the location indicates for Luis Perdomo, look for him to get on top of the baseball tonight and also mix in a changeup that he did against Blackmon in that first at bat.
DJ LeMahieu hitting .342, takes a strike, leads the club in hits 166 and walks 61, triples 8. And the beauty of this young guy is he just seems to hit left and right-handed pitchers equally, hitting .340 against no matter what wing they're using.
Pretty simple approach, and being an all-star last year in Cincinnati, I think it gave him a boost of confidence. Confidence goes a long way in this game.
Likes to go to right field. And the breaking ball way outside, 2-1.
Well, you take a Luis Perdomo's delivery, and what they've really done is he can duplicate it and keep on throwing the same way, but he has to work on top. Sometimes he gets a little rotational and it goes side to side, and that's where hitters will expose that sinker.
Good cut by LeMahieu. Off speed, 2-2. Rockies begin play tonight, 67 and 73. They're 12 games behind the Dodgers in third place, and 9.5 games, actually 9 full games ahead of the Padres in the NL West standings. Full count. Carlos Gonzalez on deck. High chopper. Solarte had to fight the lights and throws him out. Those are difficult when they bounce that high, because as you look up to catch that kangaroo bounce, you're looking right into a sea of lights.
Or he's exactly right, Dick, and especially when it's chopped off near the plate. Gets very difficult, especially when Solarte is playing in just a little bit. You can see him shielding that and gloving it, throwing a strike to Will Myers for the out.
Yeah, he was ducking away from the brightness and able to control the ball and get the 5-3 put out. Carlos Gonzalez against Perdomo, 3 for 5 with a home run. And back through the middle, deflected with a bare hand, and that'll be an infield hit for Gonzalez. And the instincts to go for that ball with the bare hand, as you were saying, Mark Sweeney, no.
You don't want to be doing that, especially that right hand. It is very special. It is reactionary. I've never been there, but you wonder. Not hit too hard.
Good way to break a finger. He's okay, thank goodness. And Gonzalez aboard on the first hit of the night. Nolan Arenado steps up. He too has had success against Perdomo. 3 for 5, 2 home runs. .37 homers, leads the National League. 118 runs batted in, tops the entire major leagues. Went 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Ball 1. Just 25. El Toro. Good hour's drive away from Petco Park. Pulled past third.
Well, what's interesting too, and you think about what's happening with the chemistry of Sanchez. Take a look at Nolan Arenado. 2 home runs off Luis Perdomo. I believe this is a different pitcher that Nolan Arenado is facing right now. So we'll see the difference, see the location on those pitches, and see if he throws them in just a little bit tonight. But what I was alluding to is Sanchez. This is his 4th start with Luis Perdomo, because Derek Norris took a foul ball off that shoulder last night.
Shortstop Sardinez with the flip to second for the force. And the Rockies are gone in the first. Travis Jankowski will start it for the Padres. inning, and the Padres lineup is brought to you by Toyota with Travis Jankowski at the top of the order, then John Jay, a couple of left-handed bats in front of Will Myers. Jan Solarte hitting .280, hits cleanup in front of Alex Dickerson with Ryan Schimpf, 4 RBIs last night with a 3-run homer and a double. Hector Sanchez, switch hitting catcher, bat 7th. Another switch hitter, Luis Sardinas at shortstop hitting 8th, and then Luis Perdomo. Jankowski, a tick under 250. Had a 2-run single and another base hit last night, 2 for 5, and takes his first pitch outside. Tyler Chatwood on the hill for Colorado. Not very tall, 6 feet, 185. Good giddy up on the fastball. He's had excellent success against the Padres, 3-0 lifetime, 2-0 this year. 1.84 ERA.
Now let's take a look at the scouting report for Tyler Chatwood, 26-year-old right-hander from Redlands, California. He varies his fastball, cuts it, sinks it, also will pitch at the top of the strike zone, and 6-1 on the road in 10 starts for Tyler Chatwood.
Amazing, 4-8 at home, 6-1 on the road. That's strike 3 called. Jankowski caught looking. And let's check our top tier player profile, brought to you by Arco, featuring Tyler Chatwood. There it is, 13 home games, 4-8 with a very high ERA on the road, 6-1, 1.82, a Jekyll and Hyde season for this right-hander. Born and went to high school in Redlands, as Mark Sweeney indicated. John Jay, double last night. After being gone 2 months, he still leads the club with 25 doubles. A ball and a strike.
Well, key for the San Diego Padres offense tonight to watch is try to get him to the center of the strike zone. A lot of it's moving on the edges, cutting, sinking, and he's very aggressive with his fastball.
That one chopped foul, and Chatwood, in terms of ground balls, is number 4 in the National League in throwing ground balls. 57, almost 58% of his pitches are grounded. So infield is alert. No, and you can say the same about Perdomo. If he's on his game, a lot of ground balls. Line drive right to the first baseman, Reynolds. For the second out, as the Rockies defense introduced to you by National University. It's Blackman in center field with Gonzalez in right and Dahl in left. On the infield, Arenado, the third baseman. Descanso at short with LeMahieu, the second baseman. Reynolds at first, and Walters behind the plate. Will Myers, club leader in home runs and RBIs, takes ball 1. Myers with a single and 5 4 at bats last night. Foul back, 1-1.
I like to see Will have some success early in this game. Why I say that is because it's such a tough thing mentally. It's been a mental grind for Will Myers after the All-Star break. You want to have one of those nights that you just don't have to worry about anything.
Rolled to third. Arenado, the Gold Glove with a bare hand, and throws him out. Oh, he's so smooth at that hot corner. The Padres go in order. No score after 1.
getting the day off after he took a foul ball to the shoulder in last night's game. He ended up leaving the game. X-rays came back negative. Obviously a very good thing, but Andy Green said that this late in the season in September, given where this team is, he wanted to give him the night off. Of course, Derek Norris, being Derek Norris, tried to fight his way back into the lineup. He took some swings in the cage, said he feels okay, and hopefully he should be back in the next few days, guys.
All right, that's positive news. Thank you, Julie. Top of the second, David Dahl, first ball swinging, fouls it away. Well, speaking of scores on the board tonight, Boston has defeated Toronto in that battle American League East. The Red Sox 13-3. Rick Porcello becomes the first 20-game winner in the majors this year. He picks up the win tonight for the Red Sox. And with the victory, Boston secures their first place lead, 2 games over Toronto. Out of play. Well, rare feats by rookies. Ryan Schimpf with 18 home runs since July 1st. That's second most in the entire National League. Just rookie, not just rookies, but everyone. Perdomo, the only Padres complete game of the year after being in Single A year ago. And then for the Rockies, Trevor Story on the DL with a bad hand finger. Record for home runs by a rookie shortstop, 27, and David Dahl, a 17-game hitting streak to start his major league career. Rolls that one. Is that fair or foul? That's foul. Fairly so.
Yeah, pretty interesting stories when you talk about that. Obviously, Trevor Story was one of those guys that I think the Rockies were devastated that they lost. Jose Reyes was supposed to be the shortstop. They got rid of him. He came in to spring training and lit it up. 27 home runs.
And that first week of the season, remember what he just hit home run after home run.
Well, that's what you want. Obviously, they have the offense, but losing your shortstop that produces that much, very devastating. But also Luis Perdomo, what a great story it is. A complete game, the only complete game for the Padres this year.
Bounce to the right side. Schimpf is there to throw out. David Dahl brings up Mark Reynolds. Yeah, going back to Story, he had 6 home runs in the first 4 games of the year as a rookie.
You see the most wins by a Rule 5 pitcher, and Luis Perdomo right there was 7. I think at the beginning of the year, the way he pitched out of the bullpen, you were wondering if they could sneak him through and get him to possibly Double-A to develop again next year. Now you're starting to think Luis Perdomo is a mainstay in this rotation.
Mark Reynolds, home run threat. And he bounces a roller up the middle. A long run for Sardinas. Can't get there. And it trickles out into center field for a base hit. Not hit hard, but well directed. Reynolds aboard. 1-out single. And Daniel Descalso will be next.
Well, again, weak contact, but they were in the shift all the way on the left side, and Sardinas doesn't like that one. Just in a perfect spot for the infielders.
Descalso, good utility man, can play all the infield positions. Former Cardinal, hitting .263 as a Rocky, takes it inside. Well, the Cubs shut out Houston tonight 2-0, their 90th win of the year. Out of play. The 90 wins is significant in that they won 90 last year. It's the first time that the North Siders have won back-to-back 90-game seasons since 1928, 29, and 30.
Well,
maybe this is it, huh?
Joe Maddon's done a fabulous job with those guys, and very talented roster, and a nice pickup with Aroldis Chapman that'll fortify their bullpen.
2 balls and a strike to Descalso with Tony Walters waiting his turn. And 3-1. I can't help but think about a very, very popular coach here with the Padres, Rick Renteria. He finally gets to be a manager, and he gets the Cubs. It doesn't get much of a chance. Joe Madden is available, so they let Renteria go. Madden comes in. Yes, he does a good job. And if I'm Rick Renteria, so hey, who's to say I wouldn't have done a great job with that lineup?
Exactly.
You got a feel for Rick. I love the guy.
Yeah, I do too. And what a baseball man Rick Renteria is.
That'll be out of play off to the left. 3-2.
He got to watch it on the south side because he was on the coaching staff of the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah. Well, he'll always have a place in baseball. He's just a valued coach. And finally gets his chance to manage, and timing's everything. Solarte now with 2 strikes on Descalso, shifts from the third base side over to the second base side as they work the shift on 3-2. Runner goes, line drive center field. Jankowski's there, heading back to first. A long throw. Jankowski not in time.
A good hustle by Sanchez, seeing that throw by Jankowski.
Yeah, he was there to back it up. But a strong throw from Jankowski in center. And now he's chatting with John Jay. That's constant communication out there.
Well, watch the swing, and it stays up. Descalso hits this fairly well, and you see Jankowski unloading it to Will Myers. It's a short hop, and you see Sanchez right at the end here in perfect position in case it gets by Myers. Nice hustle.
Walters, another left-handed hitter. 3rd-round draft pick of the Indians 6 years ago. Played in the infield late last night. Here he is behind the plate this evening.
Well, you need versatility in the National League. Also being a catcher, being able to hit left-handed. Could be in the game for a long time.
Born in Vista, San Diego County lad. Check swing, and that's a strike. 0-2. 257 average for Walters. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Tied him up inside with a breaking ball. Second strikeout for Perdomo. Padres will lead it off with Solarte, bottom of the 2nd. history brought to you by Geico. On this date in 1965, Sandy Koufax, a perfect game against the Cubs. He beat Bob Hendley. Hendley of Chicago allowed only one hit. So the entire game, only one base hit, a perfecto for Sandy Koufax. He struck out 14, the most ever recorded in a perfect game, until Matt Cain of the Giants repeated that act in 2012.
My good friend Barry Axelrod was at that game. And who's his favorite player?
I'll bet it's
Sandy Koufax.
I can hear Vin Scully's voice resonating. Harvey Keane, strike 3. A perfect game. That was the game where he used the time of the night as the game progressed. It was
I loved hearing that.
Part of the genius of the man. Solarte swings at the first pitch and fouls it back.
I've seen the Padres with the aggressive style tonight, and they've been swinging at that pitch up at the top of the strike zone.
'92, and Solarte laid on the swing. Chad Wood was drafted by the Angels back in 2008. Came to Colorado 3 years later in the trade for catcher Chris Iannetta. On the inside corner barks Las Diaz, and that's the second strikeout for Chatwood.
Well, aggressive with the fastball. We talked about different shapes. This is the two-seamer that Solarte jackknifes out of the way. And you see that late movement. Does so much manipulating with the baseball, but he's aggressive with the fastball tonight.
Alex Dickerson takes a strike. 263 average for the young man from Poway and Indiana University. 8 home runs. Ball and a strike. A pretty good pitch there. Took quite a while for Dickerson to recover from that collision with Jankowski out on the warning track when he was clipped by Jankowski and landed heavily on his hip. Just about 100% now. Pulls that foul.
Well, that's a big boy coming down on that hard warning track.
Of course, one of the highlights of this season, his upper deck home run in Toronto. Full count to Dickerson. Padres looking for their first base runner against Tyler Chatwood. Ryan Schimpf on deck. That ball's hit well to deep right center field. Way back and touch 'em all. Alex Dickerson. Number 9 for Dickerson. The power from Poway makes it 1-0.
Well, Dick, you talked about that upper tank home run in Toronto, and Alex Dickerson got into a count where he could look for his pitch right down the middle of the plate, and he doesn't miss it. On our Phantom cam, just squaring it up. No vibration of the bat.
And that one landed almost in the same spot as Ryan Schimpf's 3-run home run last night. Out into the San Diego beach.
You see that location, obviously in the middle, but down. Let's see if the Padres start setting their sights down a little bit.
Up to Ryan Schimpf on that pitch, 2-0. Just 69 games for Schimpf. 18 home runs, 38 extra base hits, and that ball right at Gonzalez, and he makes the play for the second out. Didn't quite get it on the sweet spot. Hector Sanchez, the catcher, steps up. 9 for 27, hitting from the left side. 333 as a left-handed hitter with the Padres. Those are the numbers also with the Chicago White Sox. And he went to El Paso and hit a lot of homers with the Chihuahuas.
Now we remember Sanchez in a Giants uniform and one of those backup catchers. Obviously Buster Posey up there, but coming off the bench and very aggressive as a fastball hitter from the left side.
Over but low. He won't be 27 until November. Another product of Venezuela. Check swing goes around. Up and down with the Giants last year, had only 56 at bats. Outside. Posing was Chatwood, thought he had a strike. Arizona leading the Giants in the fourth, 4-3. The Dodgers have lost at Miami. That was the return of Clayton Kershaw. Marlins got to him early for a couple of runs, and Kershaw was taken out of the game in the fourth inning as he returns after 2 months on the bench with that bad back.
Clayton Kershaw, 3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Did give up a home run.
So the Giants, should they win, can gain one of those games back from the Dodgers, who have been running away the last few weeks in the National League West. The Giants are 5 back at the start of play tonight. Full count to Sanchez. Alex Dickerson brought the crowd out of its collective seats with a home run here in the second inning. Breaking ball just misses. Top of the strike zone. First walk from Chatwood. They measure Dickerson's home run at a healthy 417 feet. I guess it's healthy if you're the hitter. For the pitcher,
yeah,
unhealthy.
That's very unhealthy if you're the pitcher. Alex Dickerson looked like he was taking batting practice with that swing.
Sardinas has a Padre hitting .261, just 46 at bats and 12 hits. His numbers there, including his brief time with Seattle. One and one. Well, tomorrow night a 5:40 start, 5 o'clock here on Fox Sports San Diego. It'll be Christian Friedrich for the Padres. John Gray, talented young right-hander, will be on the hill for Colorado. 2-1 on a changeup. And the Saturday night baseball night in San Diego, the USB charger will be given to all fans.
Wow.
Two and two. To the right side, LeMahieu covers the hole and throws out Sardinas. Padres gone in the second, but they've captured the early lead thanks to the big swing from Alex Dickerson. Long home run, his 9th of the year. And after 2 at Petco, the Padres in front 1-0. presented by Sony, the leader of 4K Ultra HD. Now Dickerson's ninth homer, 1-0 for the home side as we go to the top of the third. It'll be the pitcher Chatwood, followed by Blackman and LeMahieu for the Rockies. Chatwood, by the way, not a bad hitter. Dickerson has to feel good as he settles in his position out there in left field. He's got a .221 lifetime average, Chatwood. 6 for 44 this year. 6 singles. And there's his career numbers. Oh, and 2. Nub foul.
Well, we're seeing an improved. Obviously, we talk about the two-seamer for Luis Perdomo, but we've seen an improved breaking ball as well, but not overthrowing it. I think that's the key, and he's getting better break, better depth to that breaking ball.
Line drive, base hit. Told you so. Chatwood could swing the bat. That's the third hit, all singles given up by Perdomo.
Well, back-to-back breaking balls. Chatwood saw the better one, and this is elevated just enough for Chatwood to hit this line drive up the middle. Nice piece of hitting by Chatwood.
Brings up Charlie Blackman. Struck out swinging his first time. Went 0 for 4 last night. Squares and takes ball 1. His 5 at-bats in the series, unable to get out of the infield. And pretty even numbers home and away for Blackman. He's just a good hitter. And for a leadoff man, 23 homers. Outstanding. Now we're talking in the pregame, Mark Sweeney, as you were pointing out, for both Chatwood and Perdomo, their success, and Clayton Richard last night. You draw a line just above the knees and you keep the ball down there and you have success. And the question would be the obvious one: why doesn't everyone throw it down there?
Well, because it's different styles. It's what you're showing, and also being able to execute. Saw Clayton Richard execute it all night last night.
Out to play again off to the left.
And what was good about Clayton Richard is his misses were also down. We talk about elevation all the time, and you don't have to necessarily have velocity. You look at Ian Kennedy last year, he pitched at the top of the strike zone at 92 miles an hour. So you have to have that ability to be able to drive that pitch down, but also sinking action is very difficult to elevate if you're a hitter.
And Perdomo, a natural sinker. 1-2 now to Blackman. And he drills it to right field. If it's fair, it's gone. It is a home run. Lined right down at the foul pole and into the Petco porch. And Blackman circles the bases. His 24th homer of the year. Pitcher Chatwood scores in front of him. And the Rockies take the lead 2-1.
We talked last night about Charlie Blackman and having that power as the leadoff guy, but 2-strike hitting. Still goes with the leg kick, but fires his hands on this homer and keeps it fair.
He picks the shortest part of Petco Park, and the Rockies have a 2-1 advantage. LeMahieu grounded to third his first time. That's the 18th home run allowed by Perdomo this year in his 17th start. 1-1. LeMahieu trying to extend his streak, which is 25 consecutive games reaching the base safely. Grounded out his first time tonight. Ripped to center field, and he does continue the streak. Solid single. 3 straight hits for the Rockies here in the third. Started with Chatwood's single, solidly line to center, then the home run, a line drive homer Blackman, and now LeMahieu's liner for a hit. This is not unlike what happened to Perdomo in Dodger Stadium when they put together 4 or 5 consecutive hits.
Well, again, it still has movement on the velocity of the fastball, but it's more side to side rather than down. Right at belt level for LeMahieu, and he capitalizes with that line drive to center.
Carlos Gonzalez then the hitter. We'll remember that 4th inning in Dodger Stadium when Seager singled, Turner singled, Gonzalez singled, 3-run homer Grandal, then a single for Reddick, all hit hard. That one right to that's one out there. Then Myers on the tag play at second has the double play. 3-6 on the twin killing for the first 2 outs here in the third. Well done by Myers.
Well, perfect hop to Will Myers. He's sitting right around the bag, puts his right foot on, an accurate throw to Solarte in the shift for the out.
Boy, LeMahieu coming up, rolling his ankle on the slide. So Arenado steps up with the bases empty. Grounded into a fielder's choice his first time. Ball 1. Well, the Rockies, should they win tonight, would equal their total victories of last year when they finished last in the NL West. Won 68 games for the entire year. So improvement for Walt Weiss's club. And primarily the hitting has been good as it was last year. It's better starting pitching.
Well, he's a player's manager and has constant communication with all of his players. They have his respect. I've been around Walt, being in the Colorado Rockies organization. He was an extra added coach. And he came in, but always wanted to pick his brain about what he thought about the game. And he was a benefit to have around.
First round draft pick himself as a player back in 1985. Selected by the Oakland A's. 11th overall out of the University of North Carolina.
His son's going to North Carolina.
Yeah. To shortstop. 2 nice hops to Sardinas. And the inning comes to an end, but not without the Rockies grabbing the lead. A 2-run homer. Charlie Blackmon, 2-1.
I think everybody on a national level knows how talented Nolan is. You know, and it's a difficult award to predict just because people interpret it differently. You know, some people want to always give it to the, you know, a team that's, you know, one of the, you know, that's got the best record or is certainly a playoff team. So you never know how to predict that an MVP award, but he's about as good as I've seen.
Well, Arenado told me that he hears it all the time, that of course his numbers are inflated because of where he's hitting at Coors Field. But he said the most important thing is knowing who I am as a baseball player and having that strong sense of identity. But Mark Swinney, I think you brought up a great point yesterday, which is the MVP candidate winner should be someone who changes the team, who changes the chemical makeup of the team. Can that team be as efficient without that player?
Well, I agree with you, Julie, as you see Perdomo strike out here. The thing that happens when it comes down to an MVP is how you are thought of throughout the league. Nolan Arenado not only is thought of offensively because of back-to-back productive years, but defensively he changes the game.
That's
the
right.
total package, and you're talking about most valuable player, Nolan Arenado has to be in that conversation, not only because of numbers, because of the respect he has in the league, and also it doesn't matter where you play. He goes out and shows up. Last year had more home runs on the road than he did at home.
Jankowski up, struck out the first time. Yeah, they can say the numbers might be inflated, the home run, the long ball numbers, Coors Field, but the fielding numbers aren't inflated.
Well, it's exactly right. I'll tell you this, though. When you play in Colorado, you have those big scoring games, extra at bats, it produces more numbers. I get that whole theory and that thought process, but you can't just throw out what he's doing on a consistent basis now. He's taken his game to another level.
And only 25. Jankowski, then John Jay here in the bottom of the third. Rockies leading 2-1. Solo home run for Alex Dickerson, number 9 for the Padres, and Charlie Blackmon, the leadoff man, with his 24th of the season with a man aboard for the 2-1 lead. Three and one to Jankowski. And ball 4. Speedsters aboard with 1 out.
Every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. Weekdays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, only on FS1.
Well, it's Beer Fest night. Friday night here at Petco Park. Fans enjoying some of the local brews and national brews, and enjoying that before the game. Now settling in. On a beautiful Friday night. Keeping an eye on Jankowski with his 30 steals.
Well, Chatwood is very quick. He's got quick feet, but also can modify that leg kick. Does a nice job with the running game.
Pulled to the right side. Play made by Reynolds. The second for 1. Back to first. A double play with Chatwood covering. 3-6-1. And Jay is knocked into a DP. 5-1 lead, top of the 4th inning, and Steve Finley, who certainly knew his way around the outfield, much more comfortable than being up here with us or down by the dugout. He's gone to the outfield tonight. He's out on the home run deck, the T-Mobile home run deck. Hey, now you feel more at home.
I feel right at home out here. I mean, this is my view that I saw for 19 years. I can see the whole game a lot better right here.
Steve, how's it look out there with Luis Perdomo on the mound, the ground ball machine? What do you do differently as an outfielder?
Well, you just kind of pay attention to see if he's working the ball down in the zone. If you know it's down in the zone, they're probably going to stay. And if it gets in the air, it's going to be more towards the center right, the off side of his bat. But if he's elevating it, that's when you got to be ready to run some balls down because you know there's going to be a lot more fly balls.
David Dahl leads off the Rockies' 4th. He grounded to second his first time. Dahl, Reynolds, and Descalzo to hit against Perdomo. This 22-year-old, part of the future of the Rockies organization. Understandably, they like him a lot. He was a first-round pick 4 years ago. Late swing there. 93. Big gap is in right center field, right where Finley is located. Whoa, up and away. 2-2.
Steve, so many fields have their quirks, but this field especially, you got to be able to control that right center gap. And how do they do that, especially with John Jay playing right field tonight?
Well, they have a lot of communication. It's kind of been nice watching these guys. They talk between every pitch, moving on counts, checking to see where they are in the field, making sure they have the gaps covered, and more importantly, not covering each other's ground. I think that's one of the most important things in the outfield is understanding your range and the range of the guy the next to you, so you're covering all the ground that you have possibly you can cover.
Yeah, you saw John Jay and Jankowski talking right there, and Jankowski says, I got the gap. And what happens is they have to be able to have constant communication. It's not just in the outfield when they come in, being able to talk to Tarek Brock, the outfield coach, going through John Jay because he's the veteran guy.
There's the line drive to Schimpf, and the young Dahl continues to smack it right on the button. Schimpf in the right place for the first out here in the 4th. Mark Reynolds rolled a single up the middle his first time.
Steve, how much communication is before the game, during the game, or is it constant communication?
Well, before the game, there's a lot of studying that goes on. You try to make sure you study the scouting reports where they're going to be hitting the ball, tendency in the fly ball. During the game, there's a lot of communication because sometimes you make changes on the fly. But it's always just important to know where your other outfielders are and where the wall is at all times. So you can kind of triangulate yourself so you're not having to always, when you're on a run after a ball, you know where you are, especially in this field with all the little corners they have. Important to know everything.
A ball and a strike to Reynolds.
Yeah, we always see Tarek Brock making gestures towards the outfielders where they're going to play, pitch by pitch. There's Tarek.
Smothered for a 1-2 count.
You know, one of the interesting things, there was a relief pitcher, Steve Reed, a former teammate of mine. He was a sinker baller, and Steve asking me to, as an outfielder, to play in because those mistakes that were elevated were going to go over my head, but he would take control of that because it was his mistake.
Absolutely, and that's what scouting reports are for, to where guys have a tendency to hit the ball just depending on how the pitcher's going to pitch that night. If he makes a mistake and it goes somewhere else, the pitchers will take the credit for that mistake. And you know, if they pitch the count right, if they pitch effectively where they want to pitch this hitter, the ball should generally go in your area.
Well, here in this situation, left fielder Dickerson and Jankowski in center are medium deep, and shallow and right toward the line is Jay against the right-handed power hitter Reynolds. Two and two.
Yeah, you can see John Jay just signaling as Sanchez takes that off the leg. But John Jay is giving counts, and they're describing what happens. Do they go to 3-2 count? Do we change position? Or how much do you take? Because John Jay has swung way over to right field using that line.
Yeah, and he was just communicating with the infielder to let him know he was in and shallow so that Myers does not have to get out as far to go get a pop-up.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Boy, that pitch was diving down at his feet. Number 3 strikeouts for Perdomo. 2 away to Descalzo.
Well, this is the two-seamer that's diving down, and when you see those awkward swings, especially right-handers, and then Jankowski gives the number of outs. Always do that as an outfielder. All you youngsters out there, know the situation, know the outs.
29-year-old Descalzo played his college ball up at UC Davis, pulls that foul off EY. Eric Young coaching there at first base. So the outfield has not moved in position much from the right-handed hitting Reynolds. Jankowski a bit more into left center, but Jay's still shallow and right. Little topper out to the mound, and Perdomo over to Myers for the out. A 1-2-3 inning for Perdomo and the Padres. They trail 2-1. Brought to you by Saquon Casino. Sign up for the new Padres Club Card today. By Jack in the Box. Try his new Smoky Jack. Taste it before it's gone. And by Mercury Insurance. We're on a mission. Save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today. Charlie Blackmon, a 2-run homer, his 24th homer of the season for a 2-1 lead. Now, in between innings, the constant conversation between the veteran Jay and the young center fielder Jankowski.
Yeah, I just love this stuff. Obviously, having Steve Finley, who is one of the best center fielders I've ever watched play the game, but John Jay is instructing Jankowski and just getting on the same page.
It was. We had a great conversation in the clubhouse today about making sure you check to see where each outfielder was between each pick and checking the wall. Jankowski had a couple times this year he said where he jumped before the wall was there, and he wasn't quite sure where it was. And when I looked last night, he wasn't really checking that. Tonight, he's doing it every pitch, and that's great to see a kid like that young take that information and take it right into the game.
Well, that's really a good point for right on down to the little leaguers. Will Myers leading off here. Now you go out to your outfield position, and it's natural for you to look at the wall. Then you turn your back to the wall, and you never look back again. You're saying that almost every pitcher, every batter, know where that wall is. Familiarize yourself, because you're moving around into a different position yourself.
Yeah, it's an awareness. You got to have it, and Steve knows this too. I relied a lot on what Steve knew in center field, whether we were on the road, and that's another element when it comes into it. If you're on the road, you got to know the quirks of every ballpark and be aware of where you're positioning. Just don't float around the outfield.
We've got some great evidence of that. That ball swept to short. Easy play for Descalzo, and he gets Myers by a stride. Bryce Harper, how about this one? He didn't know where the wall was. Boom! Oh my goodness, he's lucky to come out of that alive.
Yeah, this is scary too, and I'd like Steve to talk about it. This is up in LA, and he just slams into the fence. Obviously, he was okay after that, the way he plays the game, but as a visitor and going the other way, we see the Rockies coming into town. How different is that, and what did you do when you went to another city?
Well, you have to walk the parks. Every park you go to, you have to walk it, check the outfield, check the hardness of it, check the depth of the warning track. You have to know where you're going to play. I mean, a lot of parks have home field advantage for them for a reason, because they have quirky corners like this park does. So you have to know where it is, and that's going to help you avoid what you just saw on the television there, and checking the wall between each pitch.
Solarte, the Padre hitter, fouls it away. A count 0-2 with one out here in the fourth, and the Rockies leading 2-1. Steve Finley joining us tonight and positioned out in right center field, where he's playing the role of the outfielder tonight and giving us some terrific insights. Up the middle, but the shift is there, and boy, good pick. Then he drops the ball, but plenty of time to get the slow-footed Solarte for the second out.
Well, let's take a look at the young left-handers, Alex Dickerson, also Ryan Schimpf. The last two nights we've seen some home run swings. Ryan Schimpf, and you watch the palm up, palm down, the elevation of the baseball and how they both do it. You see Alex Dickerson tonight with that low pitch by Chatwood and depositing into right center. Both pure swings, but you see that elevation swing.
Ball jumps off his bat. That's way upstairs off to the left.
Yeah, the great Tony Gwynn always talked about palm up, palm down. The top hand, the palm up, bottom hand, palm down, and you can see him elevating that pitch with power.
2 strikes to Dickerson, 94 on that fastball. Modest hitting streak going for Alex. Pull to the right side. LeMahieu bobbles, still has time. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Tyler Chatwood. We've completed 4 at Petco Park.
Definitely getting the feel for like how crazy Travis's range is. So that's how I got injured, you know, a month ago. Kind of underestimated what he can get to, and it's starting to mold there where we get a feel for just how far away I can play, and it's almost like a sixth sense for having it, like knowing where the guy's at all times.
That was 6 weeks ago against the Reds, a triple for Zach Cozart, as the ball took the 2 outfielders to the same point at the same time, and Jankowski, in essence, threw a clip on his teammate.
Yeah, and that wasn't a good collision as well, and I think it could have been a lot worse. I think Dickerson took the brunt of that.
So on we go to the top of the 5th inning with the Rockies leading 2-1. And they'll hit Walters, the pitcher Chatwood, and leadoff man Blackman. Walters struck out his first at bat. Went to Rancho Buena Vista High School here in the San Diego area. 0-2. Didn't Dave Roberts go to Rancho Buena Vista?
Yes, he did. And he was a successful quarterback, high school quarterback.
That's right. What's he doing these days?
I don't know. I guess he's doing something up north.
Up there in Tinseltown, huh? Swing and a miss. Walters will run it up with the put out 2-3.
You know what, Steve? I wanted to, where our theme is the outfield tonight, and why not? And what I want to ask you too, playing with guys to the left and right of you that don't get a lot of playing time, and you had to do that, does that change things in the dynamic? Is the more of the communication with the guy that doesn't play that much, or do you just do your own thing?
A lot more communication, things you talk about before the game, and you know, you try to put them in a position for success as much as you can and kind of pick them up. So I might try to slide more closer to them and bring my other outfielder over with me that I'm used to playing with. You know, whatever it takes to be successful that day and try to minimize the damage for someone who doesn't go out there very often. And, you know, it takes time to learn, guys, too. Hopefully you get enough games to happen, you know, so that you don't have incidents that happen like with Jankowski and Dickerson.
Well, I'll tell you this, having Steve Finley in center field, when I got spot starts, I knew I could shade the line. I knew how much ground he could cover.
Chatwood bounces a 2-hopper to Sardinhas, and he throws the pitcher out for the second out here in the 5th. And we'll go to Charlie Blackmon. Homered the last time, lined it just inside the right field foul pole.
Well, Steve, let's talk about depth as a center fielder. You remember Andrew Jones, he almost played second base for the Atlanta Braves when he was on his heyday. What's the depth? Does that change from hitter to hitter, or did you prefer playing deep?
Changes from hitter to hitter. It changes from the situation of the game. It changes from the pitcher if he's a sinker ball guy or a fly ball guy. You know, so there's so many factors that go into it. That's why the studying before the game starts is so important.
Toughest outfielder you had to play, Steve Finley?
Colorado. I mean, really, I couldn't call it playing outfield. We were ball retrievers there. You know, anything that went over your head, you started to learn. You played really shallow there just because, you know, if it went over your head, it was pretty much going out of the ballpark. So if you could take away singles and make it a solo home run or a 2-run homer as opposed to a 3-run or a grand slam, that was a good thing.
Well, that's such a good point, too, because I got there. Clint Hurdle was the manager, and he said to all outfielders, listen, I want you to think that you want to play in majority of the time.
That ball hit hard but foul into the crowd. There's so much real estate at Coors Field. You know, everyone talks about the ball flying out, the home runs, but the point is there's so much room in front of those outfielders for the singles.
Oh, it's interesting when he mentioned that to us as outfielders, and Larry Walker sent the message too. He goes, listen, guys, he's right. Play in. Every single visiting team you'd see come in would play deep when it came to it, and we benefited from that as a home team, getting those dunk singles, and the 2-run homers became 3-run homers because you're getting those easy hits.
2-2 now to Blackmon. And then you talk about a ballpark like Fenway. High fly ball, and we'll ask Finley about Fenway if that one ever comes down, and finally it does into the glove of Jankowski. 1-2-3. The Rockies go in the 5th. We're at the halfway mark in this one. A 1-run, 1-hit Dickerson's home run for the Padres. And tonight's cold hard facts are brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. MLB rookie leaders with at least 200 at bats. Ryan Schimpf with the OPS on base plus slugging at .951, leading the way. Starts the Padre 5th inning. He lined to right field his first time.
Yeah, third on that list, Corey Seager, the talented shortstops for the Dodgers. So you understand what Ryan Schimpf is doing in his small body of work, and you can say that.
It's not a big body, but it's a muscular one. Muscular body of work. His timing is impeccable, driving the ball so far. Big forearms, 3-0.
Well, it's not a violent swing, which I really love. He doesn't look like he gets out of his element. Now it has to do with experience, what each pitcher is trying to do to him, and go to his strength.
And he swings 3-0 and just misses that one. Skies it to right field. Gonzalez staring up into the night and has the out. Well, I hope that's not a coconut palm out there, Steve Finley. Watch out for the coconuts.
I'm not going to look up then.
He's out at the 396 marker under those beautiful palm trees.
I tell you what, this view puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, be careful. Charlie Blackmon might turn around and ask you some advice.
You know, the one thing noticeable I see between our guys and their guys out here is there's not a lot of communication. They look at each other occasionally, but there's not a whole lot of talk between the outfielders here.
Yeah, I wondered that too. Obviously, Cargo and Wright, and being a veteran right fielder, he can play all over. Very talented outfielder as well. But the left fielder, David Dahl, only 42 games in the big leagues.
Sanchez flares it foul, and it's 1-1. As a center fielder, are your eyes good enough to be able to pick up the catcher's signs so you know what's coming?
Back in the day, yes, I could see the signs.
One hop to Reynolds, the rest is easy, and there's 2 away. Yeah, we'll look back at Mr. Finley in action. Oh, no, this is Ken Griffey. Oh, I thought we were going to feature our own guy. How about that for a catch?
Now you see Ken Griffey Jr., Steve, and obviously the timing and what he could do athletically. Who was one of the best center fielders that you like to take a look at?
Well, I like Torrey Hunter, the way he went after the ball, the way he controlled the outfield. He was one of the best. I mean, Andrew Jones played shallow. He was just a natural athlete out there. As in Griffey, I don't think Griffey could tell you what he did. He just did it. That was kind of, he was such a good player, but he had a hard time really describing how he did things on the field, how he hit the ball. He just did it. But he was amazing to watch out there throughout his whole career.
Yeah, if you go back another generation, you're talking about Willie Mays.
No question.
That play made in the World Series against Vic Wertz, running away at the Polo Grounds, making that basket catch some 425 feet away from home, and then he turned and threw the ball on the fly back. I guess the tail end of that play is just as incredible as the catch itself.
I think a lot of people are starting to talk about the guy that's up the 5 North in Mike Trout playing center field as well.
That's right. He certainly belongs in the conversation. Sardinius makes it 3-1 now as he takes a strike.
Yeah, he's an amazing athlete. I know he's bounced around to right field and left field, but I think his natural position is center field, and he's so good out there. Hopefully he just is left alone and can stay there and be a center fielder for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Count runs out on Sardinius with 2 outs, bases empty. The Padres with only 1 hit. Tyler Chatwood. Line, there's the second hit, past third. Into the left field corner, but fielded quickly by Dahl, and he holds Sardinius to a long single.
Now, pretty unselfish at bat for the young shortstop, and why I say that, 3-1, he takes a strike. 3-2, he knows he's going to get a fastball with Chatwood, and this is a beautiful swing going down that line.
And swings, that is how you beat a sinker ball pitcher. You stay up the middle the other way with line drives.
Perdomo struck out his first time. So the base hit by Sardinius, it gets the pitcher out of the way, and at the very worst, you start the next inning with the leadoff man, Jankowski. Perdomo has 5 hits, 32 at bats. Laces that one well foul.
Just behind that, nice swing by Luis Perdomo.
Well, Fridays have been the Padres' best night. You would think the Friars would be shining most on Sundays. The Padres, well, that's Friday night. Their record, maybe it's all those beer fests and all those fests at Park at the Park. We're sparkling 15-7 on Fridays. Their best night of the week. Down low, 3-1. Perdomo working the count in his favor. Chatwood has walked 2, struck out 3. Hey, a walk for Perdomo. Chatwood can't like that, so 2 on, 2 out for Jankowski. Tying run moves into scoring position.
Oh, Walt Weiss taking a look, and as Travis Jankowski comes up, you're seeing the frustration from Tyler Chatwood. He's making his first start off the disabled list with an upper back strain, so you wonder how he's going to be. 74 pitches to this point, and how far he's going to be able to go in the game.
The man that had Tommy John surgery as a high school sophomore, and then again with the Rockies last year, didn't play because of a second Tommy John surgery. Jankowski has struck out and walked.
He likes that first pitch.
Well placed, knee high outside corner.
Can't do anything with that. Down and away, that's one of the toughest pitches to square up, but you're looking for something elevated.
Tying run, Sardinas off second. Perdomo at first. 0-2. In the dirt, good block by catcher Walters. Breaking ball.
Walters has been in sync with Tyler Chatwood tonight. Always fascinates me, that chemistry between the starting pitcher and the catcher. 3 catchers on the roster for the Rockies.
Strike 3 called. Jankowski caught looking for the second time tonight. And the Padres leave 2 in the 5th. And the Rockies maintain a 2-1 lead as Chatwood strikes out his 4th man. News and notes. Clayton Kershaw goes 3 innings on his return after 2 months off with that bad back and takes a 4-1 loss in Miami. Jose Fernandez pitches another beauty, a 14 strikeout game against the Dodgers to tie his career high. He gets the win. Trey Turner, the former Padre #1 draft pick, goes 2 for 5 with 2 home runs in the Nationals' 5-4 win against the Phillies tonight.
I tell you what, I would have loved to see Clayton Kershaw at full strength going against Jose Fernandez. What a dream matchup that is.
Yes. So to the top of the 6th inning, 2-1 Colorado. LeMahieu, Gonzalez, and Arenado for the Rocks.
He could be on our broadcast team.
Well, he's got the San Diego with the California Bear, and that's very appropriate on this day. LeMahieu has grounded to third and singled to center because this is the 166th birthday of the state of California. Founded on this day, September 9th, 1850, right after the gold rush. Happy birthday, 166. And John Turner, just by coincidence, our engineer, celebrating a birthday, and he's 166.
Yes, he is.
That's
Happy
a
birthday,
coincidence.
JT. What a coincidence. He looks great.
Yeah, it's the California weather. 0-2. LeMahieu chops one to third. Solarte across. Dug out on the backhand pick by Myers for the first out here in the 6th inning. Cooling off Carlos, not easy to do. First 3 months of the year hitting .329 with 18 homers. The last 3 months hitting a .250 pace and only 7 homers. He is hot and cold, has been all his career.
Well, I'll take Streaky coming into today. 297, 25, and 88 RBIs. That's pretty good production and one of the nicest swings in the game.
Shift on.
Well, Steve, you've seen a bunch of hitters out there. What do you see differently out there at center field with John Jay and Travis Jankowski?
Well, I just see a lot of great communication. You know, Jankowski just came back off of striking out there, and he's right back to work out here defensively because you have to separate the two.
And how do you do that, Steve? Because that's a tough thing for some young players out there that deal with the failures of offensive times that you struggle.
Well, when you're struggling, if you take your offense out there to defense, you're not going to be out there on defense very long whenever you're struggling. So, you know, you have to focus on your defense when you're out there because that will keep you on the field whenever you're struggling. Because if you're playing good defense, they want you there, and you can battle through slumps. And that's one thing I figured out in a hurry in the big leagues.
Shift on for Cargo. And he beats the shift with a line drive to right field. Jay plays it in. The Rockies have their 6th hit of the night. A couple by Gonzalez. That ends a string of 9 straight outs for Perdomo.
Yeah, I think hitters that have that swing will sit on pitches. And Cargo looked like he was sitting on that breaking ball.
And it was up. Arenado has grounded out twice. They don't use the full shift on Arenado. Looking for a double play chance. Big hole right side of the infield with Myers anchored at the bag at first. Excuse me, foul ball.
You know, an interesting stat I saw yesterday on Arenado, of all the home runs he's hit, 14 right on the inside corner. You don't see that very often.
Wow.
Able to spin on that inside pitch, huh?
And keep it fair. It's called attacking the inside half of the baseball.
Another foul, 0-2. A couple of heavy pitches from Perdomo.
You know, all those home runs that he hit off Perdomo were away and looking to pull. You could see that's exactly what Steve Finley's talking about here with the home runs. The 14, the inside corner. It was a really nice job keeping the ball fair.
Plus the 7 others, 21 on the inside edge. to shortstop. Could be two. Sardinia, Schimpf, Myers, double play. And that's it for the Rockies. Top of the sixth. 6-4-3 double play supporting Perdomo just made to order for the Padre infield, and we go to the bottom of the sixth. Baseball brought to you by Pinnacle on the Park. Make your new home here. Visit pinnacleonthepark.com for details. By Petco, where the healthy pets go. And by your San Diego County Lexus dealers. Bottom of the sixth, Padres trail 2-1. John Jay, Will Myers, and Jan Solarte for San Diego. He's lined to first and grounded into a 3-6-1 double play. Not this time. That's a base hit to right field. Over to cut it off is Gonzalez, making a turn and holding. And wisely so. Look at that throw on the fly. A perfect strike into second base by Cargo.
That's a really good piece of hitting. You see the cutting action of the fastball. And John Jay just pulls his barrel right inside. See on our Phantom cam working that barrel inside to get to that pitch. And lines it into right.
So Myers up. He's grounded out twice. There goes Jay, and the ball is grounded to short. That advances the runner. Jay's going to go to third. Here's a throw across. It's going to be a double play. Jay gambles and loses as that becomes a double play. Had second base. He was running on the pitch, so he had a jump start. But quick action by the Rockies infield, and he was a goner by plenty.
I think John Jay sees the way Will Myers hit this baseball. He's hoping for another hop. Descalso helps this play because of the strong throw to first. And then the accurate throw by Reynolds. See, watch John Jay, see if he hesitates around, and he sees Descalso make the play. Easily out at third base.
An unusual 6-3-5 double play. So two gone for Solarte. Second double play turned by the Rockies. The Padres have one. Line to left field. Boy, that double play really hurts now as Solarte sizzles a single to the left field. Had Jay settled at second, the old if game, the game would be tied. Well, the Padres have been aggressive on the bases, and that's encouraged by Andy Green. And that just didn't work that time.
Yeah, I actually like that play because you're trying to make something happen. You've only got a couple of hits in this game off Chatwood. Take a gamble, especially with one out.
Yeah, and it started with Andy Green starting the runner. I think you have to take those chances, as Steve talked about. Offensively, you know what that starting pitcher's doing. He's starting to get into a groove and limited opportunities.
Dickerson with the home run, the Padres' only score. Hit it to deep right center field, very near where Steve Finley is standing now. Number 9 on the year for Alex. High fly ball left field. Dahl into the corner to make the catch. Couple of singles for the Padres, but nothing on the board in the run column. It remains 2-1.
Home runs against Luis Perdomo, and the maturing factor of Perdomo inducing the ground ball. 3 ground balls of Nolan Arenado today, including that double play that ended the last inning. He continues to improve, and it has everything to do with his two-seamer.
Well, the only blemish tonight, the 2-run homer pulled by Charlie Blackmon right down the right field line for the 2-1 Colorado lead. Chetwood, the pitcher, had singled to score in front of Blackmon.
See the 11 ground outs tonight. That indicates exactly what he's doing. He's maturing with every start.
2 double plays for each side then, with a double play to end the last inning. High pop up on the infield off the bat of David Dahl, and it's Myers calling for the first out. Hey, let's check the Cholula flamethrower. Come on, Mark Sweeney.
Why not? And it's our guy. And it's Luis Perdomo, so you kind of get a little bit excited. 95, and that's with some movement. So hot sauce, and let's put it on the fish taco. Do you know where I can find one of those?
I don't know. Do those fish tacos have movement when you put the Cholula on them?
Usually they do. It's usually coming out the other end.
You come it off your hand into your mouth. 1 out to Mark Reynolds. He takes ball 1.
The taco is really difficult, especially when you don't know how to wrap it, and it gets all over the place, but you got to have hot sauce on it.
Okay.
You're not buying it.
I like fish tacos. I've never tried Cholula on it. You're going to have to coach me up.
Even the garlic is really good. Chipotle. Good stuff. I'll make them for you.
Well, I like spice.
I like halibut in my fish tacos.
Ooh, halibut, yeah. Yeah, with a real subtle moutarde, mustard sauce, just as subtle.
I'll put that in there.
Reynolds waiting for the 3-0 pitch. He's swinging if he likes it. Doesn't like it. Ball 4. And that is the first walk given up by Perdomo tonight.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Without any copy, that's off the top of his head. I mean, that's a major league effort, fans. Give him a hand. There you go.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Daniel Descalso
Way
lined to center and tapped to the mound. Ball one, and Sanchez steps out in front of the plate. Just come on now, let's go. Another ground ball here. Get out of the inning. Only scoring tonight on home runs. A solo shot by Alex Dickerson, his 9th. 2-run blast by Charlie Blackmon, his 24th. Good dig there by Sanchez. Solarte in to say something to young Perdomo. That's 6 straight out of the strike zone. Here comes Darren Balsley as well. Padre bullpen is active. It's reading the lips looked like Darren was saying you're falling off the mound.
Well, you see that, and we've seen it tonight, and it's a fine line because it's a comfort level as Brad Hand warms up in the Padre bullpen. But he got rotational a little bit, in my opinion, up in Los Angeles and got hurt with location. As we see the ball strike ratio pretty good tonight at 94 offerings.
Descalso takes strike one. There it is, 2-1.
I saw Sanchez agree with that. That's the adjustment that Darren Balsley wanted him to make.
Line down the left field line. Watch out into the souvenir corner. And 2-2 now. It levels out to Descalso. Yeah, it's the kind of ball you play it off the screen wall there.
Yeah, and then you
when
pick
it rolls,
up.
Yeah, when it rolls to your seat, and then you pick it up an old hide. I made the play.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Giving it to the girl.
Oh, that's what a darling.
Oh.
Line drive center field. Jankowski's going to play it on a hop. Turning and holding is Reynolds. So first and second now for the Rockies here in the 7th with 1 out. Brings up Tony Walters. 97 pitches for Perdomo. Balsley checking to see if Hand is ready. Lineup with a lot of left-handed batters. And Andy Green edging his way toward that top step. And he figures if he brings in the left-hander, then Walt Weiss will counter with Nick Hundley or a right-handed batter down on the bench. They've got a deep bench with all the call-ups. High, ball 1. Walters has struck out both times. Perhaps that influencing Green's decision as well.
And he's thrown some curveballs to Walters as well. Let's see if he goes to that curveball. He stays with the 2-seamer.
Center field hit well. Jankowski retreats, still back, and makes the catch on the warning track. No advance by the runners. A long out off the bat of Walters. Boy, we finally got a ball hit out by Steve Finley, and Finley had to retreat and go to the studio with Mike Pomerantz. Pomerantz tethered him in.
Yes, exactly. I think he'd be proud of this play, though. The way he positioned himself, went back up to the track, and also how he was positioned.
Yeah, well, Tyler Chatwood's going to hit for himself here in the 7th inning. He singled and scored and grounded to short.
Well, let's take a look at that swing of Walters and going back. Looked like Jankowski was surveying the land, but also knew his surroundings. Has a lot to do with what Steve Finley was talking about in between pitches, checking where you are in relationship to the wall.
So 2 out to Chatwood. Lined a single to center and scored on the Blackmon home run. Grounded to short the last time. Outside, ball one. He's hit the century mark every inning in the 10 to 17 range. That's in there. Outside corner. Reynolds at second. Descalso at first with 2 gone. Foul tip. 1-2.
Well, his last start against the Dodgers, only 67 pitches, so I think he can be extended here as you see him going over the 100-pitch mound.
The other aspect is he's scheduled, the pitcher's spot is scheduled to hit 4th in the bottom half of this 7th inning. So Padres get anyone on, then you can hit for Perdomo and not waste a relief pitcher in the process. Line to right center, a long run. Jankowski, he can't get it. It's by him to the wall. Chatwood has knocked in 2 more. Both runners score, and Chatwood's on his way to third base with a triple. My, oh my. We mentioned that he's a good hitting pitcher, and he's hit the ball hard all 3 times on triples to the right center field gap. Jankowski was playing shallow, and he was able to drive it by him to the wall.
Oh, you heard Steve Finley talk about the 2-seamer, and you have to play in, especially against the pitcher. And this is just a nice swing and a mistake pitch by Luis Perdomo, and he has to give effort and just misses on the dive by Jankowski.
Second and third RBIs of the year for Chatwood, and that gives the Rockies a 4-1 lead, and that forces Perdomo to exit. Padres down by 3. Pitching change being made by Andy Green. That cost him a couple of runs and exit from this game in the 7th inning with a 4-1 deficit. And let's check our rooftop shot tonight, brought to you by your Pinnacle on the Park Apartments. Great shot down on Petco Park, and 25,015 here tonight. That pushes the Padres over the 2 million mark on the season. To be exact, 2,019,420 have come out to watch the Padres and Major League Baseball action. 103 pitches for Perdomo tonight. Pitched well, but it's the Rockies in front 4-1 as Brad Hand goes to work. And the breaking ball in for a strike to Blackmon. Our pitching change brought to you by El Cajon Ford.
Well, you see the averages against the left-handers, and that's what really sticks out to me. Brad Hand has handled those big situations, only giving up 1 home run to a left-handed hitter.
Chatwood there at third, and 2 strikes now on Blackmon. So the 2 swings that hurt Perdomo, a 2-run homer by Blackmon in the 3rd, and a 2-run triple by pitcher Chatwood here in the 7th. Chatwood and Gonzalez with a pair of hits to lead the way. Loop to left center. Out goes shortstop Sardinas and makes the catch, and that saves a run. It looked as if that was going to fall in for a blue pit, but Sardinas takes care of it, and Blackmon is out, and that saves a run. But the Rockies score 2. It's 4-1. Home run of the season to give the Padres a 1-0 lead in the 2nd, but Charlie Blackmon, after pitcher Chatwood had singled, hits one inside the foul pole and right to make it 2-1, and then back comes Chatwood with 2 men on and triples past Jankowski here in the top of the 7th to make it a 4-1 Colorado lead. That's where we stand. Our Harrah's game summary. Chatwood stays in the game. He's thrown 86 pitches, and he's contributed with a bat, a single and scored, and a triple that knocked in 2. He'll face Schimpf, Sanchez, and Sardinas in the 7th inning.
Now, Sardinas made a nice ending catch. Would have added another run for the Rockies.
Schimpf has line to right, fly to right. Only 4 hits for the Padres. Jay a single, Solarte a single, home run Dickerson, and a single Sardinas. Outside, ball 1. Chatwood has walked 3 and struck out 4. High, 2-0. So the closing book on Perdomo, 103 pitches, go 6 2/3, 4 runs all earned, 8 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Pitched well enough, but gave up a couple of extra base hits. You know, he's so close.
He's so close. You think about it too, 103 pitches, 70 strikes tonight. And I think he's going to refine some of the things, a lot to work on. And you know, Darren Balsley in between starts. And I think he showed very well tonight.
Shift on for Schimpf. That's a strike. Generous call by Diaz.
Well, the big thing is to try to get into the Rockies bullpen. This is the weakness of this club. McGee and Lyles.
2-2. Couple of left-handers getting ready for the Rockies. Jordan Lyles and Jake McGee. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him on a high fastball at the letters. His 5th strikeout brings up Hector Sanchez. He's walked and grounded to first. Padres exploding to a 14-run win last night, but managing only 1 run tonight. Did not go.
You see DJ LeMahieu out short right, but you also see Descalso at shortstop, the normal shortstop. Usually you see that shortstop go over on the outside, other side of second base.
Outside. Another adjustment in the whole shift sabermetrics, lining up a particular hitter. High fly ball. Left fielder Dahl toward the line, has room. 2 away. Well, a look at the pitching matchup for tomorrow night's game, brought to you by Rancho Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. For the Padres, Christian Friedrich, he's 4-10. There's John Gray, the right-hander from Oklahoma. Gray is a solid 9-7 this year. And it's baseball night Saturday night in San Diego, and every fan in attendance will receive a USB charger. To get a couple of those USB chargers, you know, that's you know, for your phones. You can plug them in. You know, I wonder if you could plug in a human.
I think all of us want to be fully charged.
There you go. Absolutely. It's 3-0 the count to Sardinius, who singled and grounded to second.
Getting right around that century mark. 98 pitches for Tyler Chatwood.
And don't forget Sunday's game. 1:40 start. Edwin Jackson against Chad Bettis, the winningest pitcher for the Rockies, and that'll be 9/11 day. 15 years since that tragic day in New York. Well, in the United States. And Military Sunday, so it should be a very emotional day Sunday here at Petco. Right center field and hit well by Sardinius. To the wall goes Blackmon and can't make the play. Sardinius is going to turn and hold at second with a long double. Well, the Padres with a chance to get a run or 2 back after the 2-run triple. And that'll bring up Brett Wallace as the pinch hitter.
Well, you see in our phantom cam, what a nice swing for Sardinius. Looks like he simplifies it a little bit from the left side compared to the right.
Yes, surprising power.
I actually thought this ball was out. So did Charlie Blackmon.
He jumped a little too soon. And that's going to bring Walt Weiss on a trip to the mound. Haven't seen a signal yet that he's going to the bullpen. But apparently that is the case. He takes the ball from Tyler Chatwood. A terrific night for the right-hander from Redlands, California. 2 outs here in the 7th. 4-1 Colorado.
Never made sushi before. I think I tried once in college and it came out pretty bad.
You know, there's a lot of hard work that goes into being a Major League Baseball player, and there's a lot more hard work that goes on inside as far as eating right.
We didn't have a lot of baseball fields. You know, they were not like California. That's why I call it the poor man's version of baseball. So our city street was our park.
That was a sneak preview of tonight's all-new Padres POV presented by Sequan Casino. Tonight after Padres Live on Fox Sports San Diego.
Padres with a runner at second and 2 outs here in the 7th inning, trailing 4-1. And Jake McGee, the left-hander acquired from the Tampa Bay Rays in the offseason, the Corey Dickerson trade. Corey Dickerson going to Tampa.
Well, big arm for Jake McGee. Fastball, slider, and curveball. He's had some knee issues this year. Went on the disabled list, but upwards to 97 miles an hour.
Pinch hitter Brett Wallace to face the left-hander McGee. As you saw, 51 games. Where's number 51? As a pinch hitter this year, Wallace is 8 for 42, no home runs.
You know, Dick, so many times we talk about the September call-ups, but this is a situation here where if you had some extra hitters on the bench, you could possibly have that decoy throw the lefty up there. When they bring in the Jake McGee, you could put their right-hander in against him.
A couple of weeks from now, that could be a Hunter Renfroe or Austin Hedges. One and two. 5th round pick back in 2004 out of Reno High School, Jake McGee. Timeout, no pitch. 42 innings of work this year for McGee. He's given up 51 hits, 7 of them home runs. And opposing batters hitting .297. So he hasn't been quite what they hoped he would be when they made the trade. Out of play.
Well, they made the trade with the outfielder Corey Dickerson. And why? Because you're seeing outfield talent come in, and they felt like they had some people that were going to take the place of that. And you're going to have to try to acquire pitching if you're the Colorado Rockies.
Well, we're seeing one in left field now. That would have been Dirk Dickerson in left field, and now they got 22-year-old David Dahl.
And you wonder if it could be a Charlie Blackmon maybe in the offseason where that contract status starts getting up there. They know they have surplus. And you're wondering if they're going to make a move to try to acquire some pitching, especially out of the bullpen.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Lifted foul out of play.
With MLB.TV Premium, watch every out-of-market game live in HD on more than 400 supported devices and enjoy a free subscription of At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV.
We saw a silhouette. It's a darkened suite there of Jeff Burdich, the senior vice president, general manager of the Rockies, here to watch his team. There he is, blowing bubbles. 1 and 2. Up the middle, deflected by McGee, and the shortstop Descalzo throws out Wallace, and the Padres leave Sardinas at second. After 7, 4-1.
Turner had already homered once in a game, and he would walk it off for the Nationals, his second home run of the ball game.
And boy, has he been a spark plug for this Nationals team hitting at the top of the order. Since he's been there, they have taken off and taken a big lead there in the National League East.
They're up by 8 games right now in that division. When Steve and I see on Padres Live, the postgame show, brought to you by Cox Communications, we're also going to take a look at the American League East race. Fans, if you'll remember, Boston just in town. They are now in Toronto at a huge series there. We'll have the latest for you, and also you're going to hear from Andy Green. So let's get it up to Dick Enberg and Mark Sweeney. Gents.
All right, thank you, Michael. We go to the top of the 8th inning, and Ryan Buckner in from the Padre pen, his 62nd appearance of the year.
I see Ryan Buckner, and again, just like Brad Hand, controlling those left-handers. Also had a lot of success against the right-handers, heavy with the fastball.
That batting average against both righties and lefties, 155, 179. He has really been a big plus for the Padres on the year. He faces LeMahieu, who swings at the first pitch, fouls it off first. Myers may have a play. He does, and makes the catch right at the barrier. So LeMahieu 1 for 4 on the night. Carlos Gonzalez is 1-2 for 3. Infield hit in the first, grounded into a 3-6 double play in the third, and single to right in the 6th. Raising his average up to just under 300. San Francisco and Arizona tied at 5 in the 8th inning. Oh, the Giants sent up Madison Bumgarner tonight. They're having trouble just scraping up a win. Worst record in the National League since the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think that's shocking because they haven't dealt with a lot of injuries in the second half at all. It's been losing close games, as you said, Dick, with having Madison Bumgarner on. You have to win those games when your ace is on the mound.
Especially knowing the Dodgers have already lost in Miami. Swing and a miss, 0-2. So at the moment with the Dodgers losing, that's already factored in. Giants 4.5 out, Rockies 12 back. Wild card, Giants and the New York Mets dead even. They would be the wild cards with St. Louis just breathing down their neck at a half game back. So the Giants not only have lost their lead in the NL West, they're playing as if they're not going to make the wild card spot.
And it's pretty interesting because I think every team, especially in the wild card race, has their warts. They have some struggles, they have some weaknesses. So you're wondering what's going to happen. St. Louis isn't playing the way they should be, especially at home.
Foul back.
This can be an interesting race, and when you add those wild card teams, should be interesting going down the stretch.
And down to the final week, and of course the Padres might have a say in all of the matters, as they're going to be going up to San Francisco to open a 3-game series next Monday night. And on to Colorado, a 2-stop trip. Swing and a miss, and Gonzalez goes down on the fastball. 2 away. That'll bring up Arenado.
Well, Buckner, you see a lot of finishes in his finishing pitches are up in the strike zone. This one down. A little bit of cutting action on that fastball too, and Sanchez squeezing that foul tip.
Arenado's grounded out all 3 times, the last time into a double play. High and away. The Yankees win again tonight, and even though they're 4th place in the American League East, they're only 4 games out of first. Popped him up high behind the plate. That's going to be over the screen. Cleveland wins tonight. So does Detroit. The Tigers are 6 back in the American League Central. Then they're in a position for a wild card, as they've had a good second half of the season. Two and 1, and the Cubs 90 wins already. 90 and 50, have a 16-game lead over St. Louis.
Wow. Run differential for the Cubs.
3-1 to Arenado. Everything away to the right-handed power hitter. Bases empty, 2 outs here, top of the 8th. Swing and miss, strike 3. No, that's only 2. The way Arenado left the plate looked as if he had just swung at a strike 3, but it's a 3-2 count now. Had a good rip at it. Last 17 games hitting .433 Arenado, but he's 0 for 6 in this series, and he pops that up out of play. Left third. David Dahl would be next. And it stays at 3-2. Let's go back to our keys to the game tonight, brought to you by the San Diego Honda dealers. How do we do tonight, Mark Sweeney?
Well, what do you think?
Well, I don't
Last
know.
night it actually worked out fairly well, but I mean, fast start. Obviously, the Padres took the 1-0 lead after
that's
2
a
innings.
fast start.
That's a fast start. Not that fast. And Luis Perdomo.
Well, the bullpen indeed is fresh, so it can't be too self-critical.
I'd say C, maybe.
Well, that's only because the Rockies have a 4-1 lead.
Well, I was hoping to get to that bullpen with a 4-1 lead.
The other way, yeah. Well, a 2-run homer by Blackman and a 2-run triple by the pitcher Chatwood for the 4 runs for the Rockies. Swing and a miss. He does strike out Arenado. 2 punch outs for Buchter in the 8th. It's still 4-1. So bottom of the 8th inning, the Padres come up against Boone Logan. Logan turned 32 last month, and with the Rockies for a good amount of time after spending some pitching time with the White Sox, Atlanta, and the Yankees. Made 60 appearances last year, and he's right at that mark again this year.
Yeah, making his 60th appearance and has a lot of success against left-handers. Chadkowski and Jay leading off the inning. A lot of sliders More sliders than fastballs to left-handers. Works on the first base side of the rubber.
Tyler Chatwood goes 6 2/3, allowed the 1 run on the home run by Alex Dickerson. 5 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Stands to win his 11th. But the bullpen is faltered for the Rockies, and the Padres down by 3. A couple of innings to get back into this game. Jankowski has walked and took a 3rd strike twice. First pitch at 92 for a strike.
Well, in on the corners, you see Noah Arenado creeping in. Mark Reynolds on the first base side, respecting the bunt of Travis Jankowski. He has 9 on the season.
Strike 2. Taking a lot of strikes tonight, Jankowski. And a swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. Walters play at first base for the first down. Brings up Jay. Jay, a single his last time. He's also lined to first and grounded into a double play. Heavy pitch, huh?
Very heavy. See the fastball in. That was a borderline pitch, not called by home plate umpire Laz Diaz.
Myers to follow here in the bottom of the 8th. He went 1-1. Kevin Quackenbush. One and two. Well, it's appropriate on this date that a couple of home runs from left-handed hitters. And you go back to, well, my hero, September 9th, 1960. San Diego's Ted Williams hit his 511th home run on his way to 521. What makes that important is at the time that Williams hit 511, that was 3rd most in Major League history.
Wow.
Babe Ruth and Jimmy Fox, and then Ted Williams.
Now that's been shattered.
Yeah, landscape has really changed since. Down low. Ted, of course, had come back from 2 different stints in the military service, losing 5 years out of his career. And many try to speculate how close would he have come to Ruth had he played those 5 years.
I agree.
Prime. Outside, 3-2. Actually, he was tied for 3rd with Mel Ott with 511. Then he passed Ott. Ott had retired. And Mel Ott was Vin Scully's favorite player growing up, as Williams was mine. Jankowski strikes out. So does Jay. As Boone Logan takes care of the first 2 batters, left-handed hitters. Boone Logan.
Heavy dose of sliders, and you can see the slider straightening up John Jay. Catching that outside part of the plate.
Here's Myers on the infield for all 3 at bats. Grounded to 3rd, grounded to short, grounded into a double play to shortstop. Goes to the slider. Strike 1. That hit well to center field, chasing Blackman back to the edge of the track, and then the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Boone Logan. We go to the ninth. Rockies still in front, 4-1. One game, and it's time for our Carl's Jr. star of the game. Hang the star on Tyler Chatwood, the opening pitcher for the Rockies tonight. The 26-year-old from Redlands, California, goes 6 2/3, gives up only the 1 run, the home run by Alex Dickerson. 5 hits and struck out 5. Our Carl's Jr. star of the game, because with the bat as well as the arm, he scored a run after singling and knocked in 2 others with a triple. Pretty good night for Tyler Chatwood.
I'll enter the game Kevin Quackenbush in his 51st appearance. We've seen an improved curveball since his recall from AAA.
Quack will face Dahl, Reynolds, and Descalso in the top of the 9th inning. David Dahl has grounded to second, lined to second, and popped to first. Late on that swing on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Line to left. Toward the line is Dickerson. 1 away. Well, the El Paso Chihuahuas and Tacoma, and it's El Paso on the road shutting out Tacoma 7-0. So the Dogs lead 2 games to 1 in the best of 5 series.
That's putting a statement out there after losing the first game in extra innings.
And they won last night, or 2 nights ago, 7-1, and now 7-0. Getting some good pitching. 1 win away from advancing in the PCL championships. A lot of fans and broadcasters, indeed, anxious for them to go on and win that PCL title and come up here. I want to see those young kids.
Oh, I agree.
Petco. Reynolds singled, struck out, walked, and scored.
MVP Hunter Renfroe, also the Rookie of the Year, Carlos Aswaye.
Boy, I like that kid's stroke. He's
I do
compact. Too. And Austin Hedges, obviously he's a terrific defensive catcher, but he's hit over 20 home runs this year, and we could see it in spring training.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Stroke.
He looked very comfortable in spring training. Took it to AAA, ended up getting hurt, but the impact of what he has made offensively is a good sign.
We hear he went 3 for 4 tonight in that 7-0 win. So we're going to get a taste of the future as soon as they finish business in the PCL. 3-1 to Reynolds. And he goes for the downs. Dropped the bat like that one didn't feel too good on the swing. Violent swing, Mark Reynolds. Home run or strikeout has been the story of his career. Almost stepped into that one, and it did nick him, or was that ball 4 anyway? Didn't it? That was ball 4. Looked like it came close to grazing his forearm. So he's walked for the second time tonight. Brings up Daniel Descalzo. Line to center, tapped to the mound, singled to center field, and scored on Chatwood's triple. Ooh, 50-footer. That really was short.
Yeah, nice stop by Sanchez.
That almost hit the infield grass.
That was textbook. Take a look at this. It's a 50-footer, but you can see him squaring up and positioning that baseball right in front of him. Off with the mask and pouncing on that ball. Nice job, Hector.
Holding Reynolds at first base. A line drive down into the left field corner. Giants in Arizona in the 9th inning, still tied at 5 over at Chase Field. If you are just joining us, Miami defeated the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw on his return 4-1 tonight. Boston has beaten Toronto to edge a little higher in the American League East. We'll have more of that on Padres Live, the post-game show, so stay with us. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 away here in the top of the 9th. And that'll bring up Tony Walters, who has struck out twice and flew out deep to center field his last time. So in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Padres are going to have to come up with some offense, trailing 4-1. They'll have Solarte, Dickerson, and Chimp scheduled against the Rockies bullpen. Breaking ball in the dirt. Two balls and a strike. Fastball in there. Walters takes another strike. 2-2. Ottavino, the right-hander. And the left-hander is Chris Rusin. In the dirt again with the breaking ball, and the count is full.
Well, 3 breaking balls, 2 fastballs. What is he going to go with? 3-2 count.
Got to figure fastball because he's been bouncing the curve.
Fastball in.
Here it is. Runner goes. Ripped up the middle for a base hit. Continuing on to third is Reynolds. Jankowski gets the ball in on a long single off the bat of Walters. So first and third for the Rockies here with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And Raimel Tapia is going to pinch hit.
Tonight on Extra, 1360 Fox Sports San Diego, former Charger Nick Hardwick joins Judson Richards to preview the Chargers opener and what to come this NFL season. Extra 1360 with Hardwick and Richards debuts tonight at midnight on Fox Sports San Diego.
Yeah, the NFL season will be in full swing. A big Saturday of collegiate football tomorrow. Big game, of course, down at Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Central Michigan and Oklahoma State.
What do you think?
That's going to be one of the early TV games, 9 in the morning. I'm going to get my collegiate football fix. Well, the Chippewas are much improved. I can't believe it. They got, Vegas says 21-point underdogs.
Really?
Oh, we're going to shock people. It's going to be a big shock tomorrow.
Wow.
Wow.
21 dogs.
Yeah, the smaller mid-sized universities have to get those, $200,000 paydays so they can support the program.
Exactly.
So they go on the road. Hope they come back not totally crippled. Popped up by Tapia. Solarte doesn't have a chance. That's back several rows.
You excited for the Chargers? Chargers Chiefs?
I am. I think the Chargers are going to be better than everyone expects. One, they're playing because they had a bad record last year.
Yeah.
They're playing a softer schedule. They have the offensive line's got to be healthier.
Yeah.
So
they're going
and
in
I think
healthy.
Melvin Gordon's going to benefit from that. I like Wisenet back as offensive coordinator. He likes to run the ball. I think they had Keenan Allen, who was going to be an all-pro at midseason last year.
Yep.
He's back. No, I just think they're a better, much better team than last year. And I'm looking at 8-8.
Yeah, I hope they put it together because you think about the window closing for Phillip Rivers. I think everyone here would love to see him give another chance of getting that ring.
Yeah, as Mark Grant would say, a good egg.
No question about it.
Fly ball left center. Dickerson into the gap, waiting, and makes the catch. Final out. So to the bottom of the 9th inning. Solarte will get it started for the Padres.
Ninth, and tomorrow Fox Sports returns when Chris Bryant and the NL Central leading Cubs collide with the Astros tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on Fox, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go.
90-win Chicago Cubs. As we look at Adam Ottavino, so rare to see a pitcher on the hill with a 0 on his back, but that's for the start of his surname. Houston in second place in the American League West. trailing the Texas Rangers while the Cubs are coasting along in the National League Central. That'll be a good one tomorrow, and then of course a doubleheader because you can tune in at 5 o'clock here at Petco Park for the Padres and Rockies. Game 3 of their weekend series with Friedrich for the Padres, John Gray on the hill for Colorado. Ottavino will face Solarte leading off the 9th inning. Solarte has struck out, grounded out, and singled to left field. Backs away, 93 on the first fastball.
Yeah, cross-fire delivery for Adam Ottavino. Fastball slider combination for the most part.
And 1-1 Ottavino. Rockies always hoping that he'd be the right vintage, but off and on out of the pen. Last 3 years, 1-3, 1-4, 1-0. Two and 1. It was a first-round pick 10 years ago by the Cardinals, 30th overall. Out of Brooklyn. Pitched collegiately in Boston at Northeastern University. Two and 2. One of the many pitchers, Ottavino, that has gone through a full year on the sidelines. Tommy John surgery. Well, it seems like more have done it than not these days. In the dirt. Did he go? No. And the count is full.
Yeah, and you just wonder how hard is it mentally to come back? July 5th was his first appearance against the Giants. Now you come back with that. Some guys will come back stronger. Others have it again. You're seeing a lot doubling up with Tommy John.
Well, the pitcher starter tonight, Tyler Chatwood, had Tommy John in high school and again a year ago. Looked terrific tonight. Check swing, and he's punched out by Diaz. Said he went around. Time now for our Bill Howe play of the game. It's the only run for the Padres tonight, so enjoy it. As Alex Dickerson hits number 9. That was back in the 2nd inning to give the Padres the early lead, 1-0. Charlie Blackmon in the 2nd inning would, the next inning in the 3rd, would hit a 2-run homer to make it 2-1, and then the pitcher himself, Chatwood, would triple in 2 runs in the 7th. And those are the 4 runs for the Rockies. That ball's hit well. If it stays fair, Dickerson may have his 2nd home run into the corner, and just on the foul line is Gonzalez for the Cats. That ball dying in the corner. Didn't quite get it all.
Well, you wonder if this got in on him or possibly off the end of the bat. Looks like off the end of the bat. Just missed.
Boy, that sweet spot does make a difference, doesn't it?
And it does. You can see the vibration on that Phantom cam. That's what I love about that.
That's why when you really hit it subtly, it feels so good as a hitter. It's as if you didn't make any contact at all, and then off the end of the bat around your hands, you can have bumblebees in your mitts. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Schimpf trying to get something started late. He's lined out to right, fly to right, and struck out tonight after a big 4 RBI night last evening. 1-1. Yeah, the much maligned bullpen of the Rockies has been perfect tonight. Not allowing a base runner and 3 strikeouts. Outside, 2-1. A Friday night wedding at Petco? Oh no, it's across from Petco.
Going to the reception after?
Oh yeah, there you go.
That should head over there.
That's near your offices,
yeah.
huh? Fox Sports San Diego mate's one of your colleagues. No better time than a Friday night.
Well, congratulations.
3-1. They ought to invite him over here if we're running out of time, but have him run the bases after the game.
Yeah, exactly. First to third at least.
Another high pop fly way up there. And that's going to fall into the lower tier. Still a scramble. Yeah, those are kind of foul pops. If you're here in the crowd, don't think that just because it's way over your head, they're not coming back. Person in the third row wound up with a souvenir.
Yeah, you take it off the coconut.
So full count, down to the final strike for the Padres. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's how it ends. This one goes to the Rockies. The final, Colorado 4, San Diego 1. And here's Mike Pomeranz.
Dick, thanks very much. When Steve and I see you on the post-game show, you're going to hear from Andy Green as we get you set for Game 3. Also, an interesting story out of L.A. regarding the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw, and we've got a preview of Padres POV.